It's time for Dodger baseball.
Blue. You may glory in a team triumphant, but you fall in love with a team in defeat. Yes, I'm dropping some Boys of Summer quotes because the Dodgers, their season is over. They take the ATL. They lose in Game 6, and their season is over. We have so much to talk about, so much to get into, and I want to know from you guys, what is the number one reason why the Dodgers season is over? You can say a cold offense. You can say Dave Roberts if you want. You can talk about the injuries, but let me know down below in the comment section because we have so much to get into. So pull up a chair, air your grievances, and let me know. But thanks for rocking with us, guys. I know this is tough. The Dodgers, they lose tonight 4-2 in Game 6. Walker Buehler, he battled, didn't have his best stuff, but he was able to give them 4 innings, but he made a mistake, and we're going to break down that at-bat with Rosario. I think there's a lot of mistakes in that at-bat when it comes to the pitch sequencing, to the execution, to Will Smith's calls, to Walker Buehler's pitch selection there, and we're going to get into that pitch and that at-bat, but the Dodgers, they lose tonight. Their elimination game magic is over. It ends at 7 games, but let me know, were you guys rocking with us here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show? Wasn't our year. We will be back. But here we go. Not consistent injuries. Roberts, go Dodgers. The offense has been shaky. Here we go. JF Flores is terrible. We got Nope. We got Noah Gata. Nope. We got Betts, Seager, Diane, 14 strikeouts and 13 left on base. That's from Diane Schroeder over on YouTube. By the way, if I don't get to your comments at first, keep coming because I'm going to try to get as many of these in tonight because this is the last live show as a post game. We'll probably go live for some other reasons, but a great series. It was a great series. It really was. Who was the random pinch hitter? Not Souza. You saw Andy Burns out there. Yeah, I mean, for starters, yeah, Steven Souza Jr., Albert Pujols, they took off hot off the street. You know his kryptonite, those breaking balls down in the zone. He needs it higher to be effective. Steven Souza Jr., I mean, did any of us think that Steven Souza Jr. was going to come through Andy Burns? I mean, yeah, the Dodgers, they were undermanned in this series. No excuse, but they still had an opportunity to win. Now, never should have had Lux in center. I mean, that's true. I mean, it definitely hurt in the Urias start. It threw him off. You even saw Julio threw his arms up saying, what was that? You should have dove for that one. That let things get away in Game 4. But if you look at Game 3, his fly ball, they still won that game. So I wouldn't pin that on that. If you want to know why the Dodgers lost this series, 1, Julio Urias and Walker Buehler. 2 outstanding young pitchers, but both career highs in innings. And look, let's be honest, we were trying to be positive this whole time. Yeah, should have walked Rosario. We're going to get into that at bat. We have lots to say on that. FTD, okay, just coming here trolling, whatever. You're never going to win many games with 5 hits. And just look at tonight's offense. I mean, they were cold as ice, cold, so cold, man, colder than Santa Claus's armpit tonight. I mean, they end up with 2 runs on 5 hits, and they just couldn't get it done. Tonight, what happened with runners in scoring position? 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and they had a golden opportunity in this game. We're going to get into that, but they end up going 4 for 28 with runners in scoring position in the games in Atlanta. 4 for 28. That's good for a 143 average. That's just not going to get it done, and that is how you lose series like this. And the first 2 games, those are very winnable games. They lose both by walk-off fashion. Julio gave up. Here, wait a second here, guys. I can stop it. Fire Roberts, team effort. Fire Roberts. So do you also want to? If you want to fire Roberts, do you want to trade Mookie? Do you want to trade Trey Turner? Do you not want to re-sign Corey Seager? The thing is, it just looks so easy. I mean, it's almost kind of embarrassing at this point when people just say fire Roberts and they don't really get into the nuance of the reason why they're losing games. I mean, at this point, it's almost like, tell me, I mean, yes, Roberts wasn't perfect in this series by any stretch, and I was very critical. And first of all, let's just get one thing clear: these moves aren't 100% on Dave Roberts. I mean, it's a collection of guys within the analytics department. Andrew Friedman. It's not just Dave Roberts all by himself making these moves. So that's first thing. And second thing, I was very critical in Game 2, bringing in Julio Urias. I thought they should have gone with Justin Brule. I thought that you can live with the fact that Julio, who has had a career. Thanks a lot, Jake. By the way, Doug, if there's a DH in the NL. That will, man, so many comments. You guys are bringing the fire like always do. Seager's agent is Boris. Yeah, I mean, I felt like, okay, Doug, if there is a DH in the NL, will that change the way the offensive team approaches the offseason? Absolutely, no question about it, Johan Ayala. And we're going to have lots of time to talk about the offseason. And let me just tell you, I mean, there's a 99% chance, in my opinion, that the National League implements the designated hitter, and that will change everything, of course, when you talk about Justin Turner's role. Would Corey Seager come back and possibly consider taking a move to third base? And I mean, there's lots of options that will present, no question about it. Fire Roberts. Corey Seager's gone. Yeah, I think so too. Here we go. Dumb mistakes in the field and at-bats. Yeah, the at-bat, Robert, yeah, I mean, look, mismanagement in the 7th inning. Look, let's talk about that 7th inning. And look, that's the thing. You pay, so here we go. Let's break down that set. Well, let's head right to the 7th inning, and we'll go back to that Rosario at bats, because look, you guys, look, let's do a little better here and just talk about the real reasons why this team lost. Let's talk about specific examples, specific statistics, and bring our facts to the fight, because it's way more complicated than just fire Roberts. I mean, that to me is like some kindergarten way of describing this. But the reality is, they lost this series when the top of their order, you got Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, and Trey Turner. They combined to go 14 for 72, 194. Corey Seager, he looked like his heart, he looked like he was starting to spread the news at the end of this series. He did not look engaged in this series, in my opinion. He looked like he had one foot out of the door. That's just my humble opinion. He did not have the same success this year as he did last year, and he just didn't bring it. He had the couple home runs. He went deep, ran into some. Roberts needs to go. If Roberts needs to go, do all the players need to go? Did Roberts force Max Scherzer? The reality of the situation is Dave Roberts is not the Dodgers' biggest problem. And if you think that, you just simply don't know the Dodgers. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter, okay? And because one, Dave Roberts is some guy who executes a game plan that is concocted by Andrew Friedman, the front office, the analytics department, along with Dave Roberts. I mean, that's just the reality. We can say, we can scream, we can do this and that, but that's just the reality of the situation. And Dave Roberts, were there decisions that I disagree with in this postseason run? Absolutely, there's no question about it. But at the end of the day, this Dodger team is here we go. I'm seeing seeing the snobby. No doubt, no one to blame, lost to the better team. That's the thing, too. You got to tip your cap to this Braves team. They had the hottest hitter in the world right now, the hottest hitter in the universe, named Eddie Rosario. He went off. Austin Riley was fantastic. This lineup, top to bottom, they out-hit the Dodgers, and their bullpen, they out-executed them in key stretches. Now, the Dodgers bullpen, for the vast majority, they were dominant this series, and I thought today, I think looking back, I think the Dodgers would have had a better chance going with the bullpen game instead of Walker Buehler. Because Walker Buehler, D-Mac only reads the stupidest comments. Yeah, that's not the truth. I mean, you should ban the phrase "fire Roberts." LOL. No, man. Look, that's the thing. Even if I disagree with you guys, it's all good. I mean, get out your opinions. This show is to get out your frustrations and all that good stuff. It's just I'm just trying to it's a little more complicated than just fire Roberts. Honestly, Dave Roberts. So you had a career high in innings with Julio Urias and Walker Buehler. They did not look like the same pitchers. Julio Urias, he didn't get the job done. Julio Urias did not have it in Game 4. Walker Buehler, he didn't have it in both games. He pitches 7 2/3 innings this entire series, and he doesn't get it done. On top of that, Max Scherzer, he leaves the game early in Game 2 with dead arm. On top of that, he can't even come back and pitch in Game 6 and help save the Dodgers. Oh, and then you lose Justin Turner. Oh, and then Max Muncy's down. Oh, and then you lose Clayton Kershaw in this third to last game of the season. Oh, when you really dig deep into it, you realize there are some different reasons, and this Dodger team, no excuse, but the reality is they were far from 100%, but what really pisses me off is I think they still had a chance to take this to 7, but the execution on offense was bad again. They were expanding the zone this game. They were not having that they weren't shorting up their swings. I didn't like the approach at the plate once again, and they were just getting flat out dominated, and they are and another thing, too, is they were just missing fastballs tonight. They were late on fastballs, but here we go. D-Mac, AC Diamonds. D-Mac, you said exactly what I was thinking. I can't see it. I think A.J. Pollock needs to eat more potatoes Hey man, playoff postseason. There's a lot of things that we're going to unpack here, but one of them is that AJ Pollock has really come through, and the postseason Pollock stuff, the playoff P can pretty much go to bed now. Here we go. Starters were burnt out and exhausted, and it showed. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that one thing, yes, the Dodgers, to me, look, the Dodgers beating the Giants was fantastic. I don't think I could live with myself if we lost to those damn Giants in the postseason. But one, that was a grueling series. And on top of that, you had the Dodgers chasing the Giants for months and months and months. They were out of first place from the end of April until the end of the season. And it was this constant trying to catch the Giants. And when you're trying to play high level, thanks for that blow up and build around Mookie from the offense. Wow. Rejuvenate the team from, we're going to get to all this stuff, man. That's from Nathan. Walk Rosario, Roberts' fault. That's from Nathan. I think really, from that sequence, I mean, we can get into that. Let's talk about the at-bat where they really blew things up. And guess what? I have news for you. If you talk about Rosario, yes, of course, anytime it's closer, it's gonna be put more pressure on the Braves pitchers. But there's nothing that this offense showed me in Atlanta that would make me believe that this team could go there and win 2 games. That is the reality. The onus falls on this offense that just wasn't able to get it done. They averaged 2.5 runs per game. 2.5. Let me repeat that. The Dodgers offense, they averaged 2.5 runs per game in Atlanta. That's not 2.5 losses in the 2.5 runs per game in the losses this series. They averaged 2 runs per game. So, I mean, 2.5 runs per game in the losses this series. So, look, that just wasn't going to get it done. And we can talk about the pitches until we're the pitchers and the lack of execution, which we definitely will, until we're Dodger blue in the face. But they had their opportunities. The top of the lineup, they didn't get it done. They did not show up enough in this series. The bottom of the lineup, guys that were struggling, you had Chris Taylor going 8 for 72 at the end of the year. You had Cody Bellinger, people acting like he was Chris Davis and that he was done in the bigs. He was actually Chris Taylor and Cody Bellinger were the Dodgers' 2 best players in the postseason. I mean, if you do the whole postseason, you can include Mookie Betts, and also he had his clutch go-ahead hit there in Game 3. But the reality is Chris Taylor and Cody Bellinger outperformed Trey Turner, outperformed Justin Turner, who went down with an injury but was struggling mightily before that, outperformed Corey Seager. Corey Seager had the home runs, but his at-bat quality was just not on par with what it should have been. With the one good takeaway, the Giants are done thanks to the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, that's definitely great. We're going to feel good about that. Mookie is your bestie, all right. Let's get rid of Roberts. Okay, so how about this? If you're going to get rid of Roberts, let me know who you'd replace him with. That's my question. Please bring the DH in the NL, and we'll get into some Roberts talk too. I mean, owns the fire Roberts and the batting coach. You know, the thing about the batting coaches, man, these guys are all professional hitters. A lot of them have their own professional batting coaches. Really, I think you saw it looked like the Braves team was more advanced when it came to hitting around the shift, and you saw that constantly throughout this series. I think what Bellinger did in this game, I think that was impressive. What he was able to do, I thought really. I mean, Pollock had a really nice at bat, but I thought that Bellinger's at bat there in the 4th inning was very impressive, because if you go to that at bat, Cody Bellinger, the Dodgers, they're down a run, and early on in the game, you saw Walker Buehler. He was getting hit hard. You hear loud outs. He gave up the double to Albies. He gave up that double to Austin Riley, and he was getting hit really hard. And it's just not the same Walker Buehler. Okay, the velo is down. He's not throwing that 4-seam fastball up in the zone with that perceived rise. I think that. Yeah, he is evolved, and it's really impressive what he's been able to do. He's been able to have success with that off-speed stuff. But look, he's thrown over 200. Off the top of my head, I think it's 219 innings this year. 219 innings, regular season and postseason combined, and that's taken its toll. And he has to adjust, and he's going to learn from this season. But look, man, Walker Buehler, he did not have it like we've seen him, where he's big game postseason Buehler, and that really put the Dodgers behind the 8 ball. Because look, teams that have scored first this series, they were 3-2 heading into this game. Now they're 4-2, and you see, I mean, you've seen this entire postseason that teams that get out in front early, they have a lot of success. After today, the team that scores first wins the game 24 out of 31 times. So that shows you right there that getting out in front really. It really puts you in a great spot. But Kershaw should retire too. Onus is on Roberts week. Okay. Walker can't throw 98. Yeah, I mean, last year the NLCS, Walker Buehler was throwing like 99. Today, I'll kind of let me look at today what he was able to do. And there's nothing against Walker Buehler. He went out there and battled. And honestly, his velo was up 0.6 miles per hour. His fastest heater was 97.2 miles per hour. You know what Walker Buehler's fastest heater was in the Braves series when the Dodgers had a 60-game season? It was almost 100 miles per hour. He was hitting close to triple digits and hitting triple digits. So, look, I mean, he just wasn't the same Walker Buehler, and it's different. I mean, that's why, look, let's be honest. It's very difficult to win a World Series in a 162-game season. It's not. It's just more difficult because the pitchers are more heavily taxed, and it's really it's a battle of attrition and who can stay healthy. And look, I mean, Butane just kind of ran out of gas in this one, and then jumping to that bottom of the top of the fourth. Let's get into some more comments, guys. Oral GM Sosha for manager for Gary A. Okay, Jocktober, yeah, man, Jock Peterson bringing those pearls to the World Series. Not going to watch the World Series. Yeah, I mean, it's really bad for baseball. I mean, this World Series is pretty regional. I don't think it'll rate very highly when you consider the NFL. But I'm going to watch it because I freaking love baseball, and I think it has a chance to be an entertaining series. I think it'll be tough for this Braves team to navigate this Astros lineup, especially at Minute Maid. And, I mean, but I think it could be a pretty interesting matchup, especially if Rosario can carry over this momentum. He needed that sticky. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing, I'm not going to say no to that. We got bye-bye suckers. We got Dodgers. We're still number one. Dead arm rotation. Yeah, I was calling it the murderer's rotation. Now it really is the dead arm rotation. And every guy has experience. And look, just go all the way back to losing Dustin May. Dustin May, back earlier in the season, they lose Dustin May. He was an emerging superstar. And, losing Dustin May, that definitely hurt. Tony Gonsolin turning out to be a dud this postseason. Pretty much every postseason hurts as well. But, look, these guys, they fought, and I think winning in Game 5 was really big, and I was hoping to see Max Scherzer on the mound. And at this point, it's easier, I don't want to be a hindsight hyena here. Thanks, Hannibal Lecter. Smash that like button for D-Mac, Grinder Follows. Hey, man, look, guys, we're just getting through this together. We're all fans, and we're all hurting right now. Look, it's just about kind of dissecting what went wrong this series. What can we do next year? What needs to be done? Get rid of Trey from Juan. I'm not watching any more boring World Series. Carl, dude, this would have been massive for baseball. Dodgers, Astros would have put up big-time massive ratings. And, look, it is what it is. And, unfortunately, that's going to be something that's going to the asterisks. There you go, Richie. Brian Gax, they were tired. It was tough. Go Braves, beat the Cheaters from Robert. Rosario was killer. Yeah, Rosario was a man possessed this series. That's from Francisco Acuna. Walton Buehler was good after the sticky from Moose 1032. Yeah, I'm not pitting this on him. I actually think Walker Buehler has turned into some strikeout machine, into more of an outs getter, and you see how he's effective with the change of the cutter, the knuckle curve, and that's really what pissed me off about the execution of that at-bat. Let's jump right into it, because really, when you look at it, that's really the defining moment of this game, that and the Dodgers not being able to capitalize with in the top of the seventh inning, where Mookie Betts struck out. Higher Ed Orgeron, interesting. Trastros cheating again. Walton Bueshaw, interesting. One-word injuries. Yeah, injuries, look, I mean, come on. It's not a blame game, and they lost Ronald Acuna Jr. Okay, and they had lost Soroka. So, but every team is dealing with injuries essentially at this point in the season. No one's at 100%, especially when you have a 162-game season coming off a 60-game season. So you had injuries league wide. It was at record high. So I'm not going to blame this on injuries. Because look, you got to have that next man up mentality. But Andy Burns had an at-bat tonight. Okay? I mean, Andy Burns had an at-bat tonight. This is no slight to Andy Burns, but just when you look at how far down the pecking order Andy Burns is in this organization, the fact that he had an at-bat in an elimination game kind of tells you everything you need to know about the Dodgers' injuries. To me, it was like Thanos snapping his finger and everyone just fading away. And the losses just kept piling up. And really the Clayton Kershaw one, I mean, you can even talk about Danny Duffy and Cole Hamels not working out. I mean, they rolled snake eyes on a lot of these moves this year, but most of them, Max Scherzer won. Without Scherzer, they're not playing in this game today. And I think without Trey Turner, there's a good chance they wouldn't either, based on what he was able to do this entire season. So Braves just outplayed us. They were hungrier. Robert Morales. I think that's a fair assessment on their hunger. I really felt that from this Braves team. I thought that they heard the echoes of the 3-1, the Atlanta curse, the Charles Barkley curse, the Bob Nightingale curse, and look, they found a way to win. Like I said, this number is extremely important. 4 for 28 with runners in scoring position in Atlanta. I mean, if you look at, yes, Walker Buehler made the mistake, and that accounted for. He made the mistake that accounted for the 3-run shot, and he gave up the run on that ground rule double in the first inning. But look at this Dodger team. I mean, Vesia, he loaded the bases, which, he loaded the bases, had those walks, which led to the Dodgers having to use Blake trying to get out Austin Riley, so they only got one out from him. And then Corey Knebel, he gave up the hit, but he had the 2 punch-outs. Kenley Jansen, he worked his way around that double to Soler. But look, this Dodger bullpen, I mean, look, looking back in hindsight, going with the bullpen would have given the Dodgers a better chance to win tonight. And, it's easy to say that now, but, the bullpen has been really solid. I mean, they lost Joe Kelly, but, David Price, it would have been 21 days without him having pitched. Tony Gonsolin, he's been absolutely atrocious. He's been a catastrophe in the postseason, if we're being real. And, you just kind of hope that Walker Buehler on that Game 6 adrenaline could come out here. But our bad pitches was the biggest issue. Trade Keep Seager. That's the thing, too. Thanks, Jose Rod. Appreciate you. Dodgers hand the series to the Braves. Look, the thing is, anytime you get walked off twice in a series on the road, it means you had a chance to win those games. And the Dodgers, in games 1 and 2 of these series, extremely winnable. We can look back on Corey Seager not making that tag on Rosario early in the series that led to a run on Knebel in Game 1. We can look at so many different reasons. Chris Taylor, that base running blunder, I don't really think too much about that because, 1, he killed it this series, and 2, there was no guarantee that Mookie was going to get a base hit after that. So, how can you guarantee that Mookie was going to get a base hit after that, after how he's performed in this series, hitting 174, I believe. So, when you look at it, really Game 4, I think Julio Urias is kind of the big surprise to me. I think that, using Julio Urias and kind of using that bullet, having him come out and give up 2 runs on 3 pitches there in Game 2, Dodgers going on to lose that game, and then him just not locating at all in Game 4, that really hurt because, look, you're seeing a lack of command from Julio Urias and Walker Buehler, and that is the ultimate sign of fatigue. And look, give these guys credit. They gave it all they got. They emptied the tank. I have nothing but respect for everyone on this Dodgers team because, look, they were backs against the wall. They could have folded like Superman on laundry day after all these injuries and feeling sorry for themselves, but they didn't. They fought to the very end. And they just couldn't execute. They just couldn't get the big hit. And like I said, they were outplayed by a team that just had better players, just better hitters at this point. And the thing is, tonight, you look at the Braves go 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They left 12 men on base. So the Dodgers pitchers were stranding runners all night long. And this Dodgers offense, look, I thought tonight you needed 5-6 runs. I think 5-6 runs was the sweet spot on the road based on the fact that you knew Walker Buehler was going on short rest for the second time in his career, and you were going to see some bullpen pieces. You're going to see some high-stress, high-leverage moments. But look, even Brusdar Graterol, man. We can talk about the pros too, man. Brusdar is on his way. Brusdar Graterol, the bazooka is on his way, man. Mookie was trash. Urias coming in relief ruined the rotation. Dario Chavez. I do think that move is one of the most inexcusable moves in this postseason because, one, having Urias be the bulk guy in Game 5 and he gives up that home run to Ruff there. Look, he is a starter now. Stop jerking around with Julio Urias. I don't see them bringing in and also, look, Max Scherzer coming into close. And I think that was worth it, and you win that Game 5, and you can't play in the NLCS without winning the DS. But, look, the Dodgers, they were just limited when it came to quality starting pitching, and they just ran out of fresh arms. And the emotions are running high right now. I'm with you guys. That's a great point over there, my man. Sat Killa 06. Mad Sick just shoved the fire by us that inning. Yeah, he was just fantastic. Give that guy credit. The guy's an absolute beast. And sometimes you get beat, man. Sometimes you just get beat. When it comes to at-bats and matchups. But here we go. Parade 4 through 9. D-Mac, do you think the Dodgers re-sign Scherzer? D-May probably won't be back next year. I'd say, maybe middle next year. I like to see him stay with the club. That's a good question. I don't think the Dodgers will massively overpay for Max Scherzer. I think if he wants to be a Dodger and they can find a nice little sweet spot, maybe 2-3 years with a a club option, something in that range. I think it's something that I would strongly consider if it makes sense. But I do want to see this team get younger because at some point we saw this year. I mean, the older players broke down. Clayton Kershaw, who I want to see back just for selfish reasons. I try not to make emotional signings. I mean, I put yourself in the G. Yeah, here we go. Diane Schroeder, Mookie 174, Seager 167. Yeah, Seager. My gut tell. Look, man, if you guys watch the show, a night before Mookie Betts signed with the Dodgers, I looked right in this camera. I said, Mookie Betts is going to sign with the Dodgers. The very next day, he did. My gut doesn't tell me that Seager's coming back. I think that I just don't anticipate him coming back with the Dodgers, but I hope he does. I really want to see him come back and play third base. That's really my dream. But yeah, not the best series for him. But look, DMAC, Desage. Doug, if we had pitched around Rosario and Riley, we win this series. How do they not? I mean, Greg, look what I said. My key to this series, I said my number one keys to this series are you contain Austin Riley and you contain Freddie Freeman. For the first two games, Freddie Freeman, he was cold. He couldn't hit sand if he fell off a boat. He couldn't hit a beach ball off a tee. But Austin Riley's, they had first base open. Blake Trinan, he pitches to him, and he gets the walk-off. So I do think that I agree with you. Look, I'm telling you, look, I am not disagreeing with you guys. There were moves that did not go the Dodgers' way. And I think that the Dodgers, there are certain times where they overmanage, and there's some times where they undermanage in spots where it's almost obvious. And I think that's a great example, Greg, over on Facebook. I do think that in that spot, yes, Blake Trinan, he's been fantastic, 1 for 35 on the year with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. But in that spot against Riley, I mean, look, you got to be selective. And I think tonight with Rosario, I mean, that to me is that's just perplexing. Let's jump into it. So, so let's kind of get into this game a little bit, and we'll really start breaking it down. So bottom of the first inning, leadoff single by Rosario, change up down the way, 1-1 count. Rosario, he gets that leadoff single, and then he gets Freeman to ground into the double play. And then 2-2 count to Albies. He cranks it double to right, fastball top of the zone, and Albies just gets good wood on it, squares it up, and thankfully it stayed in the yard and just hit the outfield wall. And then on a 2-2 pitch, Riley rips one to right for a ground roll double. That scores Albies to make it 1-0 Braves. So that's the thing with Walker Buehler, too. Early on, he wasn't able to finish off hitters in that situation. So you also saw just 10 swings, only 1 whiff on Walker Buehler. So he was in attacking, he was nibbling a little bit, and then we jumped to the top of the fourth inning. Let's get some comments here. D-Mac, we trade in this offseason. Hey, man, you know how I get down. That's my number one thing, the trades. And we're going to go crazy with the rumors all offseason. You guys will see the Dodger Dog rumor meter back. And trust me, this is going to be, keep it locked. But if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, we're breaking down every single Dodger rumor all postseason long. And it's going to be crazy. This is going to be the craziest offseason, I think, in Dodgers history. I mean, I really do. With Corey Seager and Clayton Kershaw, Kenley Jansen. I mean, look at how many Dodgers we could never see again. Joe Kelly. I mean, there's just so many names out there that Chris Taylor. I mean, there's going to be so many rumors. And I think the Dodgers, they're going to want to try to get younger. I think that's kind of one of the big things. Max's wife doesn't like it in L.A., but they do like the West Coast. Cormac Bogies, if they don't want to have an emotional sign, then Seager just has his last game. Dead Arm Walker, go Giants. Okay. Asada Fries. Okay, I love those. You guys know me. Dark Stale Chevy, I dare you to say that to his face. Giants could Dead Arm Walker. Oh, here we go. You guys, Dodgers own the Giants. Nobody cares about the Giants. Blake is epic. Yeah, Blake's really good. Did give up that hit, though. I mean, just kind of one time he's come through so many times. You really can't pin this loss on one particular player. I mean, it really goes. Look, when you lose as a team, and that's just kind of the reality of it. And they just didn't get it done. I mean, send Trey Turner back in a yellow cab. R.I.P. Norm. Sign Matt Kemp. Oh, you guys again making me feel better. Rosario, 50-day. Seager to Yankees. Maybe why he was coasting. Matt McConnell. Here we go. Giant Slug, Diane Shooter. Things would have been different if we didn't collapse in Game 2. I think you're totally right, Diane Schroeder. I think the collapse in Game 2, in Game 1 too. I mean, you had the opportunities there, and I'm going to do like a full blown breakdown of this entire series about one of the why the Dodgers lost this series. But yeah, I mean, you look at those two games. I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to win those, and yeah, it's unfortunate. They really did. They really had a chance to win those games, and yeah, I mean, in Game 2, the Dodgers, I mean, they really had an opportunity to come back. I mean, to win that game, and they end up losing 5-4. But they get out in front early, and they just weren't able to execute runners in scoring position, and along with other factors. But we got from Austin, Texas. I love my Dodgers, and no matter win or lose, I stay true blue. Viva los Dodgers! Yeah, guys. Hey, man. Hey, it's still Dodgers all day, man. Bleed blue all day, every day. At least we have Ruiz. Okay, no, we don't. Fire Dave Roberts. I feel like people say random stuff here. A sale loaner. Yeah. I mean, welcome to the internet. It's the wild, wild west out here. Do you want Trevor Bauer back? I think that when you look at it, it's chances are slim to none. But gotta let the process play itself out. But everything I've heard, everything I've read points to him not being back. So I'm not going to spend too much time on because, like I said, I'm all about hypotheticals. But if what I've been hearing and what I've been reading is any indication, I mean, he's going to face a lengthy suspension no matter what. It's just, I mean, that's just how. I mean, that's just what the insiders that are experts on this specific topic have already indicated. So, I mean, I think I think that the Dodgers, in my opinion, yeah, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to touch too much on that. But here we go. Fire Dave, man, Guillermo, do you have any other lyrics? He's just a one trick pony there. You have anything to say? See who will sign for carne asada fries and for one. 30 teams and 29 lose. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. Only one team goes home with the piece of metal. Why not walk Eddie? Yeah, I mean, let's get into that at bat. So let's jump to, let's do, okay, first top of the fourth inning, Seager lines to right, Trey Turner, first walk of the postseason. Can you believe that? Trey Turner had his first walk of this entire postseason in the fourth inning of this game. And then on a 1-1 count, Will Smith, short swing, he bangs the curveball to left for a single, and that set him up with runners on first and second with one out. Chris Taylor at the plate, and Chris Taylor, he ends up with two strikes. He goes with a changeup, and then it goes to Cody Bellinger. And then Cody Bellinger, actually, one second here. Let's see, guys. All right, here we go. Okay, sure up that rotation to get younger. D-Mac, Coke or Pepsi? Oh, man, I'm a big Coke dude. But I like Pepsi too, man. Dude, I honestly pretty much love all soda, man. That's kind of one of my guilty pleasures, man. I'm all about the soda game. Here we go. Bring back CT3, Daniel Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, do you guys think? I mean, we dropped a video on that a few days ago. I definitely think he's definitely I would consider him someone they should strongly consider bringing back. Thoughts on the decision to pinch it with Souza? I mean, not too many options in that situation. I mean, I think we saw Souza come through earlier in this postseason. D-Mac question, why Souza? Why not Barnes? I think that at that point, to me, that's another thing. I mean, I have this in my notes right here. You just want to get the bat on the ball. You want to put the ball in play in that situation. Austin Barnes, to me, gives you a better chance of putting the ball in play. Souza, his MO is he's a strikeout machine, and I just think that was a small move that could really have impacted this game. And you just get a run there, and you get within one run. That's very different because then it's 4-3, and you have a couple innings to try to get back in this game. And it's kind of coulda, woulda, shoulda. But let's be honest. And you guys think that Steven Souza Jr., I mean, he's good at doing impressions of players. He should have done his impression of Chris Taylor or done his impression of Cody Bellinger and just trying to put the bat on the ball and put the ball in play. But, yeah, I mean, look, Matzik was filthy. I mean, that guy was an absolute beast. So there's that. I mean, that guy just kind of was just absolutely phenomenal. But 95-year-old mom was crying, but she was going on. She's a Dodger fan. Oh, well, tell your mom, don't cry. Bob, Burger King or McDonald's? Oh, Mickey D's all day, man. Big Mac, large fries. Here we go. Ivan, so many injuries, yet hung tough and fought to the end. I like that, Ivan. Appreciate the $2, man. I'm going to put that towards the Chris Taylor, Max Scherzer funds. Here we go. You don't want to burn a backup catcher. That's another thing, too. I mean, at that point in the game, though, but Souza's terrible, and this is it. I mean, this is look, but the thing is too, man, we know that Barnes struggles with heat too. I mean, look, at that point, you're pretty much the odds of having success in that situation with Barnes, and you do what you do. You don't want to burn your catcher, that's for sure. But at that point in the game, I mean, man, I would have probably had Barnes up there and try to do a squeeze, man. Try to lay down the bunt. Just get some action. Put the ball in play at that point. I think that's something that I would have strongly considered because with Steven Souza Jr., I think the odds of him going up there and just getting a base hit were extremely, extremely slim. D-Mac, even fart and you realize Boogie Deer in the headlights, but D-Mac Souza didn't put the bat on the ball. He didn't even use the chances. He struck out looking. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I said. I mean, we can get into that at bat there in the bottom of the seventh, in the top of the seventh inning. And, yeah, let's just get into that. So let's jump to this, and we'll hop back to the Rosario stuff because I definitely want to touch on some of that. So let's go to the top of the seventh. So a leadoff double for Chris Taylor, a fastball, he scorched it, he punched that mistake, and then a 4-pitch walk by Cody Bellinger, and then A.J. Pollock, he comes up. First, he takes the slider low and away. Then he takes a ball low in the inside corner. And then he takes a strike looking. And then he doubles on a slider. And that scored Chris Taylor. That made it 4-2 Dodgers. And that set up LA with runners on second and third with no outs. So you had runners on second and third with no outs. You had the Taylor double, the Bellinger walk, and the Pollock double. That brought up Albert Pujols. And he just didn't look... It wasn't a very competitive at-bat. He definitely looked outmatched. He takes strike one looking, 97. Then Matzik comes in. So you saw Jackson in that. Jackson, they got to him, and they're in the ATL. And I have to say, sorry, Miss Jackson. But they got to him in that spot. And then Matzik comes in to face Pujols. And in that spot, he takes strike one in low inside. You saw they were attacking him right in that quadrant on the inside corner, low, below the belt, and they end up finishing him off with a striker, with a slider low and away, and that goes for the first out. So one down, Pujols, he doesn't come through, and then you bring up Steven Souza Jr. He takes strike one, slider, and then he takes a ball on the low, high and outside, and then he swings at a four-seam fastball. 97 miles per hour, and then another fastball low and away. So, yeah, I mean, not a competitive at-bat. I mean, he just got owned. I mean, might as well just not have brought in a bat up there. I mean, that's how bad that at-bat was. And Matzik is filthy. You got to give him a lot of credit. He's fantastic. But that brought up Mookie Betts. And you got Mookie Betts, $365 million player. He's already come through big in this series. In Game 3, had the go-ahead double there to put the Dodgers on top. Man, Facebook user, I'm going to read that later because it's so long. It's like your senior thesis. I think the Braves played better than us, and that's from Facebook user. Terry Pack, man, we sure didn't have any bench hitting. People laughed at me when I said Kike is the difference. Yeah, I mean, it'd been nice to have Kike Hernandez this series. It'd been nice to have Jock Peterson this series. But you couple that with losing your postseason stalwarts in Max Muncy and Justin Turner, and, yeah, you kind of take a step back and you realize, man, I mean, the Dodgers, it just wasn't their series. I mean, combination of injuries, lack of execution, the wear and tear towards the pitchers, the starters looking cooked. You guys know I'm the Michelada half full man. I like to stay optimistic, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that were working against the Dodgers in this series that they just could not overcome. So here we go. So yeah, and that brings up Mookie Betts, and Mookie Betts, not a good at bat. Okay, not a good at bat for Marcus Lynn Betts. And 3 pitches. He takes strike one looking. I think just go up there and be aggressive, man. I mean, you want to take a strike, but you taking a pitch right there, 97 for strike one. And then he looks at strike two, and at that point he's quickly down 0-2 in the count, and then he goes down swinging for strike three, and all four-seam fastballs, and Mookie was just late. He could not get to those heaters, and that was really the Dodgers' last big chance. They had a real opportunity to tie things up. All you needed really there was a single, and there would have been a tie game. But at worst, you got to get a run. You have to get a run and pull within one in that inning. And when the Dodgers didn't do that, I'm just like, that gif where the guy's like at his cubicle? That's how I was. I'm like, you had the golden opportunity when the bottom part of your lineup is producing to that extent with the Pollocks, with the Bellingers, and Chris Taylor. in reverse order there. But, yeah, and then the pinch hitters were not working. Barnes, you really want to burn your catcher there. With Barnes, I mean, come on. Is there anyone out there saying, man, if they brought up Austin Barnes, he would have definitely got a hit there? Probably not. In hindsight, yeah, probably you're looking at a better to me, I mean, based on Souza's at-bat where it wasn't competitive, I mean, bringing Austin Barnes up there, lay down the bunt, maybe get some action going, you never know. And you kind of play more of a heads-up style of baseball. But, yeah, I mean, you saw tonight they were expanding the zone like they were earlier in the series, and the bats didn't carry over. Who's blaming Souza? I'm just talking about in that situation, he didn't come through. I don't think that was the right. I mean, look, I mean, it's unfortunate that that's the spot in the order, but yeah, I mean, to me, if you want to slice up blame pie, I mean, Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, and Corey Seager not coming through are really the story for this entire series. I mean, Mookie came through, of course, in Game 3, and Seager, he hit a couple bombs. And look, Game 1, he hits that 2-run shot. You're really feeling good about it, but just not good enough at bats from Corey Seager this entire series. Here we go. Pitching was the issue. All of them. I mean, how could you say pitching was just the issue when they averaged 2.5 runs per game in losses? Okay, so it's not like the pitching wasn't getting it done, and the offense is, the bullpen was phenomenal this series. I mean, you can't say that they didn't get the job done. This offense, they were atrocious for long stretches this series, and the numbers, they prove that. I mean, 4 for 28 with runners in scoring position, hitting 143 with runners in scoring position in the 3 losses in Atlanta. I mean, that just kind of speaks for itself. And then, look, I mean, dude, I mean, honestly, at that point, I mean, you don't have the matchup there. And, they didn't get at bat out of Gavin Lux tonight. Not too many opportunities for that. But really, for the Dodgers to win this game, they had to come up big with the bats. They had to show up with the wood, and they just didn't do that. And that's the reality. And when you have Walker Buehler, who he clearly looks fatigued. He clearly looks like he doesn't have a lot left in the tank this season. Going on short rest for the second time this postseason, you got to step up, and the bats just didn't do that tonight, and that's really the reality and why they lost this series. But let's go back to that 4th inning. So that 4th inning was really the key inning in this game, along with the 7th. But the losers say at least we beat the Giants. I'm not saying that. I think that was a really cool series, but yeah, I mean, to me, it's almost like when Derek Fisher hit that shot with that .4 shot, right? When Derek Fisher hit the point. One second here, guys. Here we go. Yeah, to me, it's like when Derek Fisher hit that shot, the .4 shot in Game 5 of the 2004 Western Conference Finals. In that series, it felt really good, and the Dodgers and the Lakers end up losing that series, and it doesn't carry the same weight. Still a great moment, but everything changes when you go on to win the series. But, yeah, the Giants series, I mean, I don't feel like happy that we won as much as I'm just happy that we didn't lose more than anything. But D-Mac lost. We lost as a team. We should have produced, period. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to put it. I agree. I mean, save for the bullpen, who I think the bullpen did its job this series. I mean, make no mistake about it. The bullpen did its job this series. And really, I mean, save for maybe Joe Kelly, who had the bicep shoulder injury, and, Corey Knebel gave up that run there. But really, it's few and far between. For the most part, they got the job done this series. You had Vesia, give up that bomb. But look, this bullpen really stepped up, and they really stepped up big, and they got it done as a unit. But D-Mac Dodgers scored 4 runs in Game 2, and that was enough to win that game. Roberts lost it by not trusting the bullpen. Alex Renteria. I mean, didn't I literally say that verbatim after the game? I said in that situation, going with Julio Urias in that situation, considering that he's used to being a starter now, considering the workload, considering just he didn't have that pristine location, that pristine command, even against the Giants. I thought that they put him in a spot to, and at that point too, you only have 3 starters, and I think that was kind of my big gripe. You have 3 starters, and when you only have 3 starters in a 7-game series, and 2 of those, and all 3 now had arm fatigue, but at the time we knew that Urias and Buehler were just not looking like the same guys. I think that to me was the bad move, and I totally agree with you. Now, if the Dodgers win Game 2, do you really think they win this series, considering they lost it in 6 games? I think And then you have Game 6 and 7 in Atlanta. We're not talking about Globe Life Field with 10,000 fans. We're talking about Atlanta with 40-plus thousand fans, and that makes a massive difference. And I think that maybe if the Dodgers lost this game tight in Game 7, maybe you can make that excuse. But really, just for an entire series, for the most part, they got out-hit, they got outplayed, and I think that their approach at the plate was superior to the Dodgers throughout. I mean, just look at their three hitters: Austin Riley, Freddie Freeman. Compare their top four with Rosario, Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley, Ozzy Albies to the Dodgers' top four, top three. I mean, they clearly were the superior group. And I think if you match those guys up, that's one of the big reasons why this series was won. Mookie didn't step up like as much as he needed to. Seager didn't step up as much as he needed to. Trey Turner didn't step up as much as he needed to. And then you lose Justin Turner, who's the guy that comes through for you in these situations. And then you lose the Dodgers, their leader this season as far as home runs and RBIs and WAR in Max Muncy for the majority of the season. So to me, that was, look, you combine all those factors and you can see why the Dodgers lost. Popeyes or Bojangles? Rob G, actually never been to Bojangles. I'm sad to say that. I want to go one day. Do love me some Popeyes, though. Bring back Oral Hershiser. Y'all going to show a Mickey Mouse trophy? Man, so you just basically take all your jokes from, like, street jokes from the internet? Good job. To me, the 2020 World Series will always be special, always be unique. Yeah, I mean, to me, every World Series is unique and special. The Dodgers had to win 13 games. They played the NLCS in 7 consecutive days. So, look, I mean, if you want to rag on it, that's fine because it'll just motivate the franchise to get a full 162-game World Series. So, if you want to rag on it, that's fine. To me, I still consider it legitimate. It gave me joy to see Julio Urias get that last out. It gave me joy to see older Dodger fans talk about how they were waiting their whole lives or, waiting 32 years to see a title. So, I mean, you can't really take that title away from me personally, and it also doesn't affect me. I don't know who you support, but, I mean, it just really doesn't. Game 2, yes. Yeah, Game 2 is pivotal, man. Game 2 is definitely pivotal. But, yeah, let's look at that Rosario at bat. So, top of the 4th inning. We'll finish that. So Chris Taylor, he strikes out, and then Bellinger, runners on first and second. I thought it was a great approach by Bellinger. On the 1-1 count, a big swing, and then 2-2 count, he hits it where they ain't. Single to left, scoring Trey Turner to tie things at 1, and what an adjustment by Belly there. Just that long swing on strike 2, and then he shortens it up, 2-strike approach, pass the baton approach. He hits it where they ain't, and he ties things up. I think Cody Bellinger is one of the big bright spots of this postseason run. And then with runners on the corners, Pollock, he pops the third to end the inning. So the Dodgers, they tied up at 1. First postseason walk for Trey Turner, a base hit by Will Smith, a big 2-strike single there by Belly, and it ties thing up. But so Fire Roberts now. We got D-Mac. Dodgers season was a failure. Win. I mean, yeah. Do you guys consider this season a failure? Yes or no? Let me know. I have some thoughts on that. Bring back Fernando. Hey man, Fernando's in the broadcast booth, but love me some Fernando Valenzuela. Amen, D-Mac. Hey, what up, Andrew? Fire Roberts on all caps. Bring back CT3. Ben Simmons. There's always next year. 2020 doesn't count. I mean, I think it does, but do you? Bruce Davis. Dodgers should have won Game 2. Dodgers should have won Game 2 and Game 1. I mean, honestly, they were playing, coming off that big series, and yes, that was a massive series. And look, I mean, the stars have to align sometimes when you win a World Series. And would things be different if the Giants weren't so good this year? Look, say what you want about the Giants, but if the Giants really hate the Dodgers, I think they're one of the big reasons why the Dodgers lost tonight. I really do. Even though the Dodgers beat the Giants, I think what the Giants put the Dodgers through all year as far as that division race, I definitely think that you start to see that wear and tear this series. And look, imagine if the Dodgers didn't have the Giants in their division. They played the Brewers in that first round and they coasted, or if they didn't have to play in that wild card game. Like I said, these aren't excuses. The Dodgers lost. The Braves earned this series. The Braves outplayed the Dodgers. But if we're being honest, there are a lot of details and a lot of factors that went in to the Dodgers losing this series. But we'll come back next year. I'm proud of I'm super proud of the wild card game. Bring back Puig. I love Puig. Not a failure. Not a failure. Just ran out of gas. Bottom line. Yeah. I mean, look, it's true, man. I mean, there was not a lot of tread on the tires during the end of this run. But Lux over Souza, yeah, I mean, you don't have the, Lux versus lefties. I mean, I think Lux, I wouldn't, I don't think, look, the way they play the matchups, you're just never going to see that matchup. Let's just be honest. And Jose Rod, thanks, my man. $54 million, 1 through 3 in the lineup. This season was not a failure. Matt R. Look, I mean, what if this Dodgers season is a failure, what are the other seasons? I mean, they're super failures. I mean, failure, nah, man. They gave it effort. Doesn't feel like the previous season. Yeah, Anthony Keene, I think that Game 5 win, the way they came out and they took it to, Chris Taylor, 3 home runs. First time he had 3 home runs in an elimination game in Major League Baseball history. And I think this team did fight tooth and nail until the bitter end. I just think they ran into a Braves team that, look, this Braves team, I hear a lot of people out there saying, oh, the 106-win team lost to an 88-win team. Dude, this Braves team was 40-20 in their last 60. This Braves team is a really good team. So looking at it like that just doesn't make a lot of sense because the roster differences at the time, they picked up Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario. So they made some moves that had a big impact for them. And, yeah, to me, I think that this is a very good Braves team. I think they're more of a 95-win team if you have the same roster in the course of an entire season. So, yeah, I mean, the Braves are a good team. Yeah, I mean, Alex Anthopoulos, they have a great front office department there, too. And I think the Dodgers will go back and see where they were schooled. The Dodgers front office, I think, was schooled. Andrew Friedman, the analytics department, the Dodgers, they think they're the best in the game. And I think this series proved that they're not the best in the game. Okay, I think this proved that there were some situations that defied analytics, bringing in Julio Urias. He has those reverse splits. You're bringing him in with the fatigue to try to get out the lefties there. I think Justin Brule, what he showed, if you're gonna have these guys in the bullpen, you got to go with them. You got to trust them. And I think playing Gavin Lux in center field, it almost cost them 2 games. I think that him not diving for it there in Game 4 was costly. And I just think that you just want to put your best defensive squad out there. Here we go. Lauren Shahadi, I like her. Yeah, they are super failures. Nothing against the Braves. Daniel Cruz, Braves had a chance to rest too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was what I was getting to. I mean, the Braves, that's what you want to do. That's what we've seen for this Dodgers lineup, for this Dodgers run, is they've had time to lock up the division earlier. And yeah, it's just unfortunate when you see that what transpired tonight. But here we go. We got Andy Burns. Come on. Yeah, Astros going to cheat again. Daniel Cruz. The Braves are 5th best. Forget analytics. Just play ball. I think, Doug, are you looking forward to the DH? I personally am. I like the strategy. I kind of like the chess, the chess element. It's a more complicated, nuanced game, more complex game as far as when it comes to strategy without the DH. And I think that, look, you're going to see an automatic out. And how many times have you said, hey, I want to watch this? You're at the game, like, oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom, the pitcher's batting, right? Does it help the game? Does it help the growth of the game? Because I think baseball is having some issues in that department when it comes to getting to the younger generations and, staying on par with the NBA and or the NFL. So I think that, look, if it helps the growth of the game, the pitchers want it. It would help pitchers stay healthier. Balance out some statistics league-wide. And also I think that kind of the big reason to answer your question about how I feel about the DH is at the end of the day, you don't limit yourself. You don't look at a player like, let's say, a Nelson Cruz and say, oh, he's not going to be a Dodger because we don't have the DH, right? And so the American League teams, they'll have an advantage from that aspect. So I just think that it would make the league from a universal standpoint, from a player mobility standpoint, the National League teams won't have some players that will be off limits to them because they won't have that designated hitter spot. And also you have some players that you can lengthen their career. Justin Turner, I think next year he'll benefit from the designated hitter spot. So to answer your question, I've always been a DH, a National League guy as far as, obviously, I'm a lifelong Dodgers fan. So I like the strategic element of the no DH with the pitcher batting. But I think it's time for the game to take that next step. And I think it'll be beneficial for the growth of the game. Astros win in 20. Yeah, who's your guys' World Series picks? We got to get to that. But let's get into I like that one. They overthought every decision. I think that there's definitely a lot of that. I mean, look, man, I mean, on numerous occasions there were examples where, yeah, they did. There was a lot of overthinking. But like at the end of the day, I don't think a move here, a move there would it change everything? I mean, look, Justin Brule could have came. I mean, look, look, think about this. If you flip that and if they told you Julio Urias was available and they go with Justin Brule and he comes in and he gets rocked, you're going to say, why don't we go with Julio Urias? Why? So it's so easy. It's always easy to second-guess the move after you've seen the result, and you're not going to talk about the moves that did work because, yeah, usually it's less magnified. Astros in 5. We got Kenley Jansen, a great year. Yeah, definitely. Outscored, outpitched, outhit. Adios, amigos. But yeah, let's get into that. So bottom of the 4th inning. I want to talk about this, guys. So he strikes out Jock Peterson, and he gets Swanson to fly out. So you got 2 outs. And you remember, that was the inning that gave Walker Buehler some trouble, right? So then he walks. So this was the killer. He walks d'Arnaud, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Okay, he walked d'Arnaud, and those kill you, man. 2 out walks. You don't want to extend innings by any means necessary. So that came back to bite the Dodgers. He walks d'Arnaud, and then then Adrianza, he turns on a double to right. Mookie got to it quick. He stopped and it did. Mookie got to it quick, and he didn't send. Him. So you saw Ron Washington. He didn't send the runner there because he had Rosario coming up to the plate. And then with runners on second and third, Buehler to the hottest hitter in the universe, Eddie Rosario. Look at the sequence. He had for first pitch, a swinging strike on a cutter. Second pitch, swinging strike on a cutter. And third pitch, he fouls off a cutter. Fourth pitch, misses high and away with a 2-seam. Fifth pitch, fouls off a cutter, center cut. Sixth pitch, fouls off a 2-seam away. And then seventh pitch, cutter inside, and he cranks it over the wall for a 3-run shot. That put the Braves up 4-1. Dodgers never came back. And like I said, I didn't like the pitch sequence there. You had 5 cutters, 2 sinkers, and just not enough off speed there. Too much heat in that situation. You had first base open. I would have called for at least 1 or 2 knuckle curveballs in the dirt. You could have gone with the changeup. You got to do something to try to get him out in front of something, keep him off balance, and they just didn't do that. Will Smith, just look, that's his game plan there with Walker Buehler on how they were going to tag Rosario in that situation, and it was just not well executed. Too many cutters, too many 2-seam fastballs. You got to work. I was screaming at the TV, curve, change, slider, anything to just kind of keep him off balance because you saw him locking in. You saw Rosario locking in at the plate, and you saw, and look, if you look at it too, Buehler hits his spot right there. I mean, he hits the glove. He threw it right where Will Smith wanted it. It just didn't have enough run on that pitch. So, just didn't get that run like they had hoped, and just caught too much of the plate. So, if you look at the count there, a 1-2 count, just too much of the plate there in that situation. And to me, just not enough off speed in that at bat. And I just think that, look, that to me is where the game was lost because, yes, the Dodgers were only able to score 2 runs. But at that point in the game, if you're keeping it close, it's going to make it easier for the Dodgers to find a way to get it going with the bat. So that really hurt, and it's just tough. I mean, look, like the old Walker Buehler, when he's right, you might see no 4-seam fastballs in a situation. He's just not the same confidence from Buehler out there on the mound. He just doesn't have that same presence right now. But give him credit, he did battle tonight. He took the ball on short rest. You can't really fault him. I think that. Look, with Max Scherzer, who is on ice now, and I think to me, he doesn't. And it's not the Dodgers' fault. He just wasn't ready to go. He knows his body, and he wasn't even able to throw a long toss and do his routine because he had that arm fatigue. But you made that big trade. You had hoped that Max Scherzer could go down swinging, but I just think that with first base open, so this is the thing about the Dodgers is they let Austin Riley beat them in Game 1. He was their hottest hitter, and then. You let Rosario beat you tonight. So I thought that that was just it was pretty inexcusable when you think about it. Just how the Dodgers didn't it was almost a little hubris, a little bravado there. Was just kind of unfortunate. I think that the way they attacked them. So if you saw Game 1. You saw Game 1, Austin Riley's. He was able to get that single off Blake Trinan. You pitched to him in Game 1, and that was a tight game. They had issues scoring runs. You had first base open. Yes, you had Blake trying. He's been nails this year, but you got to be sensitive. You got to respect their hot hitters. And then you saw what happened too. And then what happened in to me too. I mean, we could talk. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I mean, look at game 2. Rosario gained the game-winning single. He was fantastic back then, and they bring in Kenley Jansen. To me, Brusdar Graterol stays in that game. I think that was another management mistake. So, yeah, I mean, lots of blame pie to go around. I think it was a team loss, really an organizational loss, and I think that you just can't ignore the injuries. I mean, there's just if it was 1, if it was 2, I think maybe. But I think, I mean, look, Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, Justin Turner, Max Muncy, such a massive loss. I mean, imagine having after what Bellinger showed, having Muncy at first and then Bellinger in center. And the thing is too, the kind of the trade-off there is if Muncy is healthy, do you see as much Bellinger, and is he able to figure it out? So that's another thing too, because Muncy had been struggling too. So no excuses. The Dodgers took this series loss on the chin. You got to accept it. You got to come back stronger. You have to find a way to make some moves. And now, really, to me, it's Christmas time. It's free agent season. It's going to be rumor season. To me, that's Christmas, man. We chilling with the 2020 ring. Does last year's ring? Let me ask you this question: does last year's ring make you feel better about tonight's loss, or does it not affect anything? Do you still feel the same amount of pain? Did you want a full 162 game season? Let me know down below in the comment section. But here we go. Muncy being out was the death blow for us. That's from Ryan Moore. We got Fire Roberts and hitting coach. Not to mention the Bauer situation. I do think the Bauer situation definitely affected the Dodgers in that, one, they had to find a way. Just all of a sudden, that's when you had the bullpen games, and you had it was starting to attack some of their rotation. And they did upgrade from Walker Buehler. Make no mistake about it. Max Scherzer is a superior pitcher to Trevor Bauer. But that stretch right there, and then also you got to consider the off the field distraction that it turned out to be. I mean, that had to have been exhausting. So I think that, yeah, definitely, if we're going to write a book about this year, I think that if you're going to write a book about this season, I think it'd be far more interesting than the 2020 season. I think this season was pretty fascinating when you consider you bring in Albert Pujols. You had the division race with the Giants. You beat the Reds in the wild card game. You faced the Giants for the first time in the postseason. I mean, lots of magic this season, lots of big moments. But hey, only one team can win the title this year. It won't be the Dodgers. Hopefully, it's the Atlanta Braves. Here we go. We got love last year, historic season. A winning club wants it every year. This year stung, but we'll be back. I like that, Luis, over on Facebook. Note makes it feel worse about last year. That's from Victor. Do you feel like it makes you feel worse because it feels like it's illegitimate, and why? We are champions. Can't take that away from Craig Osterberg. Exactly. Thanks for another. Lost you. Oh, yeah, thanks for another great season, D-Mac. Yeah, man, this has been a great season, guys. I mean, I don't even know how many shows we've done this year, but we've been post-gaming since the beginning of spring training. So, it hurts me because you guys, if you go back to the first spring training game, you asked me for my World Series prediction, and what did I tell you guys? I said Dodgers versus Astros, and I thought that would be so massive. I think it would be must-see MLB. And it just wasn't the case, man. Braves got like 7 broken bat hits. Jose Rod 05. Yeah, I mean, them's the breaks. I mean, you saw they got that's kind of what happened there in the bottom of the 4th inning with Adrianza. That was a broken bat hit too. So go Braves. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Go get him next time. Trade Pujols. I like how you spelled that. but that was kind of offensive. So I thought you were just trying to be phonetic about it. But no, they can't trade him. Questions will they bring him back? I think we'll probably do some. I think we'll do some. Let's do some lives at some point. Let's go. Thanks, D-Mac, for all amazing knowledge. Thanks, Xavier. But yeah, guys, I'm sure we'll do something, man. We'll probably be back. I mean, during the off season, we'll probably. I think if you guys, we'll kick it. We'll do some stuff. I think that considering everything that's gone on this year. And everything, all the big decisions that this organization has to make in the offseason, I think we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. But here we go. D-Mac looking like Fred. And this is from Efren. D-Mac looking like Fred Durst's pale brother in blue. That's funny. That's funny, man. Hey, man, it's funny. I actually got a red Yankees hat at one point. My friends were like, dude, you can't rep Dodger blue. And, shout West Side for life. D-Mac, you down for a Lakers post-game show? Anthony Keene. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. There might be something up there for sure. I mean, you know how I am with the Lakers, man. It's pretty much my life is the Lakers and the Dodgers. Let's put it that way. You can always do a post-game Lakers edition. Yeah, man, we definitely probably get something popping, man. Top of the 7-3 Ks killed us. Yeah, Brian Kim. We kind of talked about that ad nauseum. The Dodgers had a real opportunity to apply some real pressure on this Braves team. Just weren't able to come through. Jackson, he didn't get the job done. Matzik came in, and Matzik, he's been that guy, this, almost like a Josh Hader type, coming in there, putting out the fire, getting the job done, and he's been the fireman for them. And, yeah, he dominated the Dodgers in that inning. And like I said, Pujols, Souza Jr., look, they're not the reason why you're here in the first place. You can't put all the onus on them. You can't fault them. Mookie Betts, not the best at-bat. I mean, he deserves you can be a little more critical, I think, of Mookie Betts going down swinging on 3 pitches and just really getting dominated in that at-bat. But dual show with Lakers Nation, Miles Williams. They're a different company. But, yeah, man, you guys get me all I'll be there for, you guys are all hyped on that. Let's do it. Now that the Dodgers are out, I hope the Braves we have a lot of stuff to get into. But, yeah, look, I mean, how would you guys, I mean, it was disappointing, man. A disappointing end to a season where the Dodgers, look, it's so hard to go back-to-back. It's only been done a handful of times. It hasn't been done in the National League since 1976 when the Reds did it, when the Yankees, they won in 2000. So it's hard to go back-to-back. Lots of moving parts in baseball. Bullpen pieces are so volatile. Lots of fickle moving parts. And, yeah, I mean, it was just a tough season. But, I mean, to be honest with you, man, I really enjoyed this season. I had a great time. One, just hanging out with you guys after the games, but also just – I mean, I think the division race with the Giants is what I'm going to remember most, and then, the division, the NLDS. I mean, that was just some high-level baseball. The injuries, you just can't ignore them. There's no question about it. Yeah, wow, the Grizzlies beat the Clippers. Okay. But, yeah, Dodgers Nation, I do respect your channel and your balanced take as Dodger fans. The Dodger trolls, however, Roland, yeah, I mean, they're pretty rough. But, look, man, I just try to keep it real with you guys, try to keep it honest. I mean, when I'm watching my sports, I can detect when, it's some guy that's trying to be a PR machine for the organization. And then to me, that's not fun because I want that real. I want that rough, rugged, and raw, that real stuff, man. So that's what I appreciate from you guys. We're all the bandwagon. So this is we'll end on this. Gary, once the Bauer thing happened and my went down, that was the NBA went down. That was the depth. Yeah. Good night, Doug. You're tremendous. Thanks, Martin Soul. Yeah, thanks all you guys. This Braves team won. Yeah, D-Mac holding back tears. No way, man. All smiles, man. To me, look, man, the way I look at it, too, where's Doug likes it raw. Hey, man.
Finish him.
Okay, man. Keep us updated with the 22. Yeah, we're going to, nothing's going to change, man. We're going to do all kinds of, you're going to see just more videos on the YouTube channel. So be sure you're subscribed. Be sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. That's at DMac_LA. Catch you guys soon at some point. We'll do some lives. We'll figure this thing out. But thanks for a great season, guys. We had a great year, a fun year, a lot of ups, some downs. Well, tonight is definitely a down because the Dodgers, they have been eliminated. You're going to have the Astros versus Braves. Get some quick World Series predictions from you guys. DMac, favorite YouTube. Thanks, man. Thanks for everything, DMac. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, guys. Yeah, man. This is see you later, not goodbye, guys. Okay, Neil, thank you. But you guys are the best, man. Daniel, thanks. But yeah, let's go. My prediction. What's your World Series prediction? We'll get out of here in the next, 1 minute. I think, I think the Astros are probably gonna win, but just to will this thing and that's the other thing that really hurts too. The Dodgers, they would have had home field advantage against the Astros, so that's pain. I say World Series postponed. Astros will sweep. Braves in 4. Braves in 7. Yeah, I think the Braves. I'm just gonna say Braves in 6, even though I think the Astros will probably win it in 6. I think Astros will win in 6, but I'm gonna say Braves in 6. Astros in 5. Don't let the Braves win this. It's pain to say this, but Astros in 6. That's from Team J. Ivan Martinez. We got Moose. Gonna miss you, Doug. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be around. Andy Keene. We got hoping for Braves in 7. Fire Roberts. Take D-Mac. You got to get that in there one more time. Yep, the Braves in 7, Astros in 5. Who cares? It's not LA. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Thanks, D-Mac, Dodgers fan today and tomorrow and forever. Yeah, let's end on that, guys. Astros sweet, Mark J, Jenny Vega. I will decide after game 1 who will win. I like that. Get back to me. Jonathan, division race may have burned out the pitchers in the long run. Yeah, we kind of talked about that a lot of time. But thanks again, guys. You guys are the best fans in the game. Tough loss to a really eventful, interesting season. The injuries, the ups, the downs, the Scherzer. Lots of fun this year. We'll be back next year. Before you know it, it'll be time to go to spring training, and it'll be time for Dodger baseball once again. But thanks again, guys, for all things Dodger baseball. Be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Get merched up at www.gearup.la. Hey, man, you get to rock some off-season gear. It's all fresh. Doesn't go, it's still, you still got that Colt 45s and 6. You're sad from Adam, 818. Scherzer staying. I would say, I think it's 50-50. I think a coin flip on Scherzer right now. But thanks again, guys. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
It's time for Dodger baseball.